Hi everyone, this is Kavya from MarketClicks. Welcome to today's session on how to use GitHub. Before we begin, I'm going to brief you all about the agenda in today's session. So firstly, we will understand why we need GitHub and what it really is. Then we will learn to create our very own first repository. We will also understand what branches are and how to create them. Then we will further discuss a few basic GitHub operations, the first one being the commit operation followed by the pull operation. Finally, we will end the session with a case study on how Microsoft uses GitHub. I hope you all are clear about what we will be addressing today. Now let's move on to the first part of today's session, the need for GitHub. It is extremely important for software developers to work on a web-based platform to share their projects and collaborate with other developers. This platform must be a version control system, that is, it must enable multiple people to simultaneously work on a single project. Each person edits his or her own copy of the files and chooses when to share those changes with the rest of the team. This application must also be capable of hosting millions of programmers and hobbyists that download and evaluate each other's work. GitHub is one such platform of choice for developers that can host multiple programmers and review their code. GitHub has several competitors, for instance, GitLab. GitLab is an open-source web interface and source control platform based on Git, whereas Microsoft Team Foundation Server is an enterprise-grade server for teams to share code, track work, and ship software for any language, all in a single package. Bitbucket, on the other hand, stores all of your Git and Mercurial source code in one place with unlimited private repositories. So what really makes GitHub so powerful and popular among developers? GitHub is an open-source platform and the community is really what fuels it. Moreover, GitHub is the platform of choice for developers from various large corporations to Microsoft is the #1 contributor to the system, but there are also Google, SAP, Airbnb, eBeam, PayPal, and many others. Exposure and insight that you can get on GitHub are simply unmatched by any other platform. Here you can discover code written by others, learn from it, and even use it for your own projects. Versions control on GitHub works very much like Microsoft Office or Google Drive. It simply tracks all the changes made to your code and who makes them. You can always review the detailed changelog that neatly hosts all of the relevant information. Using GitHub eliminates the need for complex corporate security solution because everything is on cloud. The platform protects code branches, verifies commit signing, and controls access. Now that we know why we need GitHub, let us understand what is GitHub. GitHub is a Git repository hosting service that provides a web-based graphical interface with many features. A repository is usually used to organize a single project. Repositories can contain folders, files, images, videos, spreadsheets, anything your project needs. Let's say, for example, a team wants to work on a particular project. Here, they can simultaneously write and update the code to a central repository, which is present on GitHub. So GitHub is a highly used software that is typically used for version control. It is helpful when more than just one person is working on a project, for example. A software development team wants to build a website, and everyone has to update their code simultaneously while working on this project. In this case, GitHub helps them to build a centralized repository where everyone can upload, edit, and manage the code files. Most software projects have a bug tracker of some kind. GitHub Tracker is called Issues and has its very own section in every repository. Issues basically are a great way to keep track of tasks, enhancements, and bugs for your project. Moving on, people often get confused between the terms Git and GitHub. Now let me clearly explain the difference between them. Git is simply a version control system that lets you manage and track changes within your project, whereas GitHub is a cloud-based service that lets you manage Git repositories. So basically Git is the tool and GitHub is the service. Now that we know the difference between Git and GitHub, let us move on and understand how these two work hand in hand. We already know that Git is a version control tool that will allow you to perform all kinds of operations to fetch data from the central server or push data to it, whereas GitHub is a code hosting platform for version control collaboration. GitHub is basically a company that allows you to host a central repository in a remote server. Now without any further ado, let's get started with the demonstration on how to use GitHub. So for this demonstration, we're working on the website version of GitHub. There's another version of GitHub that is the desktop version, which you can download it to your personal computer. So we're simply going to search for GitHub in our search engine. The first link will lead you to the official website of GitHub. So I'm going to click on that. So this will redirect me to the main homepage of GitHub. As you can see, there is a Search GitHub option. There are also two buttons that says Sign In and Sign Up. If you're new to GitHub, you can simply enter in your credentials. that is a username, email, password, and sign up for GitHub. But if you already have an account like I do, I'm simply going to click on the sign in button, and it'll redirect me to a page where I have to enter the credentials. That is my email address and password. I'm going to do that now, and I'm going to click on the sign in button. Now this is the main page of my account. As you can see, I have no repositories. It's all new. It's all fresh. But if you're not new to GitHub, you can view all of your repositories on the left-hand corner. Now, before we move on, I'm going to explain you all the features that are present within GitHub. So you can see a search bar here. So the search bar will allow you to look for profiles. Certain keywords look for different kinds of projects that are available on GitHub. All of those can be done using this bar here. And you can see 4 options next to the bar that says Pull Request Issues, Marketplace, Explore. Pull Request we'll learn later on in this session, but the issues and Marketplace we won't be discussing in this video for now. The Explore button, on the other hand, is an extremely important and interesting button. So once I click on that, it'll redirect me to a page with some activities that are going on around in GitHub. You can see here the trending repositories, their trending developers. Basically, this is a feed that will allow you to interact with developers and other people, collaborators from all around the world. Basically, in Instagram too, you have an Explore button, which will allow you to interact with different people from all around the world. So the same concept is implied in the GitHub Explore button too, so you can explore topics, you can explore trending repositories, developers. Basically, it's an interaction with other people from different parts of the world, so I hope that's clear. Now, the most important part of the session are the 3 buttons that are available in the right-hand corner of the navigation bar. So you can see there's a bell icon, there's a plus icon, there's a pixelated icon on the right-hand corner. So the bell icon allows you to read notifications of your activities that occur in GitHub. So that's what it really is. You can see the inbox will allow you to view all of the notifications. You can also view the unread notifications by clicking on this button. As of now, I don't have any notifications, so there's nothing available. You can also group these notifications by the date or repository by clicking on this Group By button. Here you can also view your saved notifications by clicking on here. And the Done button, on the other hand, will let you mark all of your notifications that you're done with your previous notifications. So these are the 3 important buttons you'll have to know in this bell icon. And the filters are not necessary as of now, so I'm not going to discuss that. This button, on the other hand, will allow you to manage your notification settings and your subscriptions too. So that's all for this bell icon. The next important button is this plus icon. As you can see, there are 5 drop-down options that appear here. The first one being New Repository, followed by Import Repository, New Geist, New Organization, New Project,